Welcome to today's mat practice. So this is really a practice for morning. The idea is just to start to wake everything up, wake your body up, kind of get things moving a little bit for you. And generally, people feel a little tension in the low back, the hips, and maybe even the shoulders and the neck, especially when we wake up. Everything feels a little cranky, a little stiff. So as we go through this practice, just pay attention. You really can do this practice at any time, but coming into it with that sense of waking up, of opening up, is our intention. Now we're going to start out on the floor. So go ahead and find your space, almost as if you had just rolled out of bed onto your back. And we're going to start this little practice just by bringing our attention into the body, into your breath. So bring one hand to your belly and the other hand to your chest and take a couple of breaths. Maybe just recognize that you're here. Sometimes when we wake up, the brain isn't quite there either, a little sticky, a little stiff in the brain, the awareness. So just gently bring your attention into your body here. And recognize that you're here to take care of yourself today, just to move things around. All right. Now, we're going to bring both knees in toward the belly, starting with a little action for the hips. Try and find a spot where your low back feels supported. Your hands are on your kneecaps. And the big action is through your abdomen. So when you exhale, you're just pulling your thighs in toward your belly, contracting your abdominal muscles that little bit. And then when you inhale, press your thighs away from your belly until your arms are straight. So when you exhale, you're bending at the hips, bending at the elbows, but the abdomen is doing all the work. Just remind yourself that you don't have to pull with your arms. And even as you do this small movement, notice your knees. If your knees want to go wide as you pull them in, see if you can kind of pull them straight in toward your belly. Just getting that little massage around your digestion, around your lower abdomen. So hopefully you're still with that easy breathing. Do this a couple more times. Just, again, we're just waking stuff up. I'm going to do one more. You go at whatever speed you are at today. All right, and then release your legs. Set your feet down onto the floor, and then bring your arms down by your sides. All right, so we're going to let the hips, the legs stay in this position. We're going to move the arms. On your next inhalation, just reach both arms toward the ceiling, and then bring your arms all the way to the floor above your head. The entire time you exhale, return to that starting spot. Arms come down to your sides. Now, as you repeat this movement, feel that little arch in your back as you raise your arms. So you're opening through your chest, your belly, waking up those muscles along your spine. And then when you exhale, bringing your arms to your sides, again, pull that belly button in, using those abdominal muscles. A lot of times when we wake up, we need to get the digestion moving a little bit. Our body's been digesting all night, and now we can get everything moving in the morning. Okay, we're going to do two more, nice and easy. Just paying attention, starting to wake up your awareness, wake up your body, those shoulders, your neck, your spine, all working. Maybe one more time. Again, just paying attention to your body as you move and breathe. All right, the next time your arms are down by your sides, you get to relax those arms, relax your shoulders. Maybe feel that circulation through your hands. All right, find a spot where you can press your palms into the floor down by your hips. Just get a little action through your arms. So you're pressing your arms, your shoulders toward the floor. At the same time, press your feet into the floor. So your toes, maybe those big toes, are pressing more than everybody else. And try and keep your knees as wide as your feet. So again, if your knees are rolling in toward each other, just open your knees a little bit wider so you feel solid and stable. Feet stay pressing into the floor, arms stay pressing into the floor. On your next inhale, you're going to clench those glutes, lifting your butt just an inch or two. And then when you exhale, again, use those abdominal muscles, slowly rolling your spine down. If you can, again, inhale, lifting your hips, pressing those arms down, pressing your feet down. Exhale, pull that belly button in, rolling your spine down one joint at a time. So if you can, do this a couple more times. Inhale, lifting, maybe clenching those glutes. Exhale, rolling down, releasing that clench. If you can, maybe two more. Really pressing your arms down, relax the back of your neck. Get that little stretch on the back of your neck as you lift. Exhale, rolling your spine down, using your abdominal muscles to control the descent. Maybe one more time. And then the next time your hips are on the floor, let your hips stay resting on the floor. Maybe feel those hamstrings. We're going to stretch out the hamstrings. So again, bring both knees in toward your belly. Find a spot where your low back feels supported. You can hold the backs of your legs, but it's not required. We're just going to stretch the backs of the legs. So as you inhale, straighten your legs toward the ceiling, flexing your feet. And then when you exhale, bend your knees, pointing your toes as you go. Now this movement, we're trying to get the ankles, the knees, the hips, everything moving. And again, notice when you bend your knees, if your knees want to go wide, see if you can try and keep your knees in towards your belly as you do this. If your hip flexors start to yell, make the movement a little smaller. We're still warming things up. Just nice and easy here. Now, the next time your legs are toward the ceiling, if you can, keep your legs toward the ceiling. Keep breathing. Just pull that belly button in a little bit. All we're going to do here is point the toes toward the ceiling and then flex your feet, pushing out through your heels. Again, like that, point and flex. Maybe one more time. Point and flex. Good. And then bend your knees. Set your feet back down onto the floor. Now, if you feel those hip flexors, that should be a little bit of something. So we're going to release those hip flexors. Open your feet a little wider than hip distance away from each other. Your arms can rest wherever you like. We're just going to do a little twist. So as you exhale, twist both knees to the right, turning your chin left. And then when you inhale, untwist, knees and chin toward the ceiling. And then exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, untwisting. To repeat this movement, remind yourself you're still just warming things up, waking up that little bit of movement through your hips, your low back, even your neck, getting a little action here. As you do this movement, maybe notice that little release through your hip flexors. Especially when you're taking your knees to the right, you might feel the stretch along that left hip flexor a little bit more. When you take your knees left, you're feeling that right hip flexor? Maybe. Really, you're going to feel it wherever you're most tight, right? Okay, the next time your knees go to the right, chin goes left, you're going to hang out here. Now, really, we want gravity to do most of the work. The big action is every time you exhale, you're pulling that belly button in. Remind yourself, when you contract your abdominal muscles, your low back has to let go. Now, if you like, you can cross your right ankle over your left knee, but remind yourself, if any of your joints, if any part of your body says, that's a lot, listen, we're just waking stuff up. Still pulling that belly button in when you exhale. If you want to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, you can bring your left arm to rest on the floor by your head. So we're stretching all the way down. So that left hip flexor actually attaches all the way up, just behind your ribs. So find the space. It's morning, opening stuff up. Again, finding space around this digestion area. All right, and then you're going to bring your arm down first. If you have your ankle crossed, uncross your ankle and then untwist. Come back to the center. Now, when you come back to the center, you might feel really crooked and need to adjust things. So Take a second. And then if you're desperate, we're going to do the other side. So both knees go to the left. Take a second here. Just let your legs drop toward the floor. Let gravity do the work. Every time you exhale, you're pulling that belly button in. If you like, you can cross that left ankle over your right knee. Again, check in. It might be different on this side. We're looking for space. We're looking to open up that right hip flexor. But if any other part of your body starts to yell, listen to your body. Don't just blindly follow the directions here. Now, if you want, you can bring that right arm alongside your head. So you get that big space down the right side of your body. Every time you exhale, you're just pulling that belly button in. That's the only effort here. All right, now bring your right arm to your side first. Then uncross that ankle and then bring your knees back up toward the ceiling. We want that release to be as easy on your back as possible. Remember, we're still waking up in the morning. All right, once you come onto your back, adjust everything, your shirt, your hips, your low back, and then bring both knees in towards your belly. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side here. Just feel that little stretch at your hips, your low back. And then maybe bring your knees or bring your head up toward your knees toward your head, whichever one works. And then set your shoulders and your head to the floor. Set your feet back down onto the floor. And then I'm going to have you roll over onto your hands and knees. If you don't love your hands and knees, just hang out here for another moment. But if you can, coming onto your hands and knees, make sure there's a little space between your knees, a little space between your feet. And we're just going to move the spine. So when you exhale, you're pulling that belly button in, rounding your back, maybe squeeze your shoulders towards your ears here. And then when you inhale, flatten your back, lifting through your chest. Think about pulling your shoulder blades back and down. So do this a couple of times. See if you can really get your shoulders involved here. So on that exhale, your shoulders squeeze towards your ears. You're feeling that stretch between your shoulder blades. And then when you inhale, flattening your back, try and pull your shoulders away from your ears as you go. Just go back and forth a couple more times. And then on your next exhalation, pulling that belly button in, just push your hips back as far as it feels okay. Really try and keep your shins parallel to each other. So if your tendency is to open those knees wide so your belly can drop in between your legs, we want the little pressure between your thighs and your belly. If you're resting on your back still, just hug those knees in towards your belly. Again, getting that little stimulation at your digestion. Take a breath or two here, trying to relax your shoulders, relax your neck, getting that little space along your spine. You can reconnect, redirect your activity to pulling that belly button in as you exhale. All right, and then you're going to shift your body so that you're resting on your belly. All right, now when you come down onto your belly, see if you can rest on one side of your face. If your neck doesn't love this, you can always rest on your forehead. But see if you can get that little stretch along the side of your neck, even if you're just resting on the floor. We're being active here. All right. Find that spot where your legs, your feet can rest on the floor. Now, if your feet are really crampy this morning, you can just come onto the balls of your feet. Your feet can stay touching the floor. We want to focus on that space between your shoulder blades here. So on your next inhalation, you're going to lift your head, your chest, squeezing those shoulder blades together behind your back. And then when you exhale, turn your head the opposite direction, lowering down. So inhale, just focusing on that spot between your shoulder blades. If your butt cheeks start to clench, if your glutes wake up, just see if you can soften that effort. Really focusing the effort between your shoulder blades here. Hands stay low to the ground. So you're kind of reaching back as you lift up. Exhale, lowering down. We're going to do one more just like that. Feel that little stimulation at your stomach, that little pressure at your belly. All right, the next time your upper body's on the floor, you're going to stay there. take a free breath. And then we're going to move the hands. So bring your hands so your palms are resting on the floor by your shoulders. Your elbows are resting on the floor. When you do this, we want the shoulders to relax. So if you need to, you can always open your hands a little bit wider away from your body. Now we're going to keep the arms in this position. The hard part is not pressing with your arms, okay? So you're doing that same movement with your upper back we did with the arms at the sides. Can you remember? I know it's morning. All right, so when you inhale, we're just going to focus on the upper back. Lift your head, your chest. Imagine you're pulling your elbows in towards your sides as you lift up. You're not pressing with your arms. And then when you exhale, lower your head, your chest to the floor. Just one more like that, focusing on that upper body, no pushing, and then lowering down. All right, just that, because we just wanted to get the brain to focus in on that spot between your shoulder blades. We're going to do that same upper body lift. We're going to get the brain to wake up a little bit. We're going to move one arm in the opposite leg, okay? So if you can, on your next inhale, at the same time, you're lifting that upper body. You're going to just straighten your right arm along the floor, lifting your opposite leg. And then when you exhale, lowering down, bending that elbow, coming back to the starting spot, just turning your chin the opposite direction. I know that was a lot. Can we do it again? So inhale, lifting your head, your chest, extending your left arm, lifting your right leg. Exhale, come back to the starting spot. Now, here's the deal, folks. When we get excited, there's a big rush and big push to push into it. See if you can find the control here. So maybe make it about 70% of your effort. You don't have to push 110% here. All right, the next time you're on the floor, check in. If your back's still feeling pretty good, if your body's feeling pretty good, I'm going to invite you to do one more time on each side. Finding that place where you feel even. Again, feeling that little stimulation across your belly. That's strengthening across your back. All right, the next time you're resting on the floor, everything gets to stay resting on the floor. I'm going to invite you to come back up onto your hands and knees and sit back into child's pose. Now, if you can't get on your knees, you can always roll onto your back again and just hug those knees in. But find a way to stretch out your back. If you're in this child's pose, maybe walk your hands to the right just a little bit, extending through your left arm. Straighten that left arm, reaching out through your fingertips just enough, pushing your hips straight back. Someplace you can breathe easy. And then walk your hands to the center. And then keep walking your hands all the way over to the other side. This time extending through your right fingertips, pushing your hips straight back. Finding that space, that stretch down the right side of your back. All right, then you're going to walk your hands to the center. Come back up onto your hands and knees. And now I'm going to invite you to do a little down dog. All right, so tuck the toes of both feet under. So you're on the balls of your feet. Keep your hands spread wide. You want to keep your hands where they are, your toes where they are. You're going to lift your knees up off the floor, and you don't have to straighten your legs all the way, but just think about pushing back. So your fingertips are pushing into the floor. Push your hips straight back. Try and find a spot where your neck can relax here. If you can, if you're feeling sturdy and strong, you can stay here. If you need to come out of it, just bend your knees to the floor again. Okay, so wrists, shoulders get a lot of effort here. So pay attention. Think about shifting your weight back towards your feet in that down dog. Maybe bend your knees all the way to the floor. One more time. I know we're waking stuff up. Are you good? Can we do one more? Lifting your knees up. All right, now we're going to come all the way up to standing, but I want you to take your time. Get there however it feels useful. Because when we shift our bodies that way, we're shifting gravity. All the blood can drain from your head back down to your feet. And just give yourself a breath here. All right. As you come up into the standing position, find a spot where your legs feel solid and stable on the floor. All right. And then we're going to track the joints. See if you can get your ankles, your knees, your hips to all line up so your legs are parallel-ish to each other. If you can, close your eyes. I know, these deep breaths, just getting everything to realign. Take a second, feel your toes on the floor. Maybe think about those big toes pressing into the floor a little bit more than everybody else. And then you can just think about lifting the arches of your feet. And then move your attention up your legs to your knees. Let your knees be unlocked here. And then move your attention up your legs to your hips. Maybe tucking your tailbone just a little bit, pulling that belly button in, just enough to wake up those muscles of your abdomen again. And then lengthen your spine, getting as tall as you can. All right, now we're going to stay in this position. Eyes can be opened or closed, whatever you need. On your next inhale, just bring your shoulders towards your ears. And then when you exhale, roll those shoulders back and down, crunching all the way. Can we do that again? Lifting your shoulders. And then rolling back and down. Okay, we're going to do one more, just like that. And then let your shoulders relax. Let your arms hang down by your sides. Point your thumbs towards your legs here. This is going to be our starting spot. Now on your next inhalation, you're just rotating those thumbs forward, out to the sides and back, gently squeezing your shoulder blades together behind your back. And then when you exhale, return to the starting spot. Really pull that belly button in. Do this a couple more times. Find the space. Find what your body needs here. Maybe two more. Last one. All right, and then let your arms relax. Maybe roll those shoulders again. Just feel that little circulation down through your arms, through your fingertips. All right, we're going to still focus on the arms. This time, reach your arms out in front of you, maybe rounding your back just enough you feel that little stretch between your shoulder blades. On your next inhalation, you're going to open your arms wide away from each other. You can bend your elbows. And then when you exhale, reaching forward, finding that stretch between your shoulder blades. So again, like that, inhale, opening wide. Exhale, reaching forward. Again, we're waking things up, just opening things up. Maybe one more time. Snap, crackle, and pop the whole way. All right, after your next exhale, let those arms relax. You can roll your shoulders again just to feel that energy, that movement through your shoulders. And then we're going to do a little forward fold here, but it's going to be active. We're starting to wake things up, getting a little bit more energy going. So you don't have to change, but I just wanted to give you the side view here. Feel your feet on the floor, nice and stable again, right? So all we're going to do is our little baby squat. Just bend your knees until you feel a little action through your calves, your feet. And then straighten your legs. When you straighten your legs, think about clenching those glutes. And then relax your glutes as you bend your knees. Do this a couple more times. Remind yourself, we're just waking stuff up. Feet, ankles, knees, hips. Try and keep that abdomen engaged the whole time so you're not sticking your butt out when you straighten your legs. My body wants to do that every time. I really have to think about it. Maybe one more, just that little bend. And then straighten. Now stay standing. Take a second, check in with your body. Maybe that's as much as you want to do. You could continue that little baby squat. But if you can, I'm going to invite you to add a little forward fold to it. So at the same time, you're bending your knees, glide your hands down your legs, folding forward. Maybe imagine you're sitting back into a chair so your hips get low. As you fold forward, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. And then if you can, keep those knees bent wherever they are, lifting through your chest, kind of like you're sitting up into a chair. and then straighten your legs. Now, the trick here is we're waking up all those muscles of the back. All right, so when you exhale, really pull your belly button in, kind of tuck that tailbone, bending your knees, folding forward, keeping your knees bent. When you inhale, lift through your chest. Feel those legs work, straightening your legs all the way up. Oh, this is definitely waking things up. If you can't, two more. Exhale, pulling that belly button in, nice and stable. Feel your feet on the floor. When you inhale, lifting through your chest, straightening your legs. If you feel like you're going faster than me, that's okay. This is a lot of work. I'm going to invite you to do one more. See if you can do one more. Folding forward, pulling that belly button in. Keep your knees bent, lift through your chest, push through your legs, get nice and strong. Once you're standing, let everything relax. Take a breath. Check in with your body, maybe check in with your breath. If the room is spinning, give yourself a minute, right? Okay, so here's the deal. Hopefully the low back is nice and stable, awake and solid and stable. We're going to do a little standing twist. And here's the deal. If your low back, if your sacrum's always a little sketchy, pay attention, adjust yourself here. We're going to do a nice wide-legged stance, and the knees are bent just a little bit. Especially if your low back is still feeling a little sketchy, you can always put a block or a pillow on the floor in between your feet. All right? Because this next one could be big. So we're just going to fold forward here. And then see if you can bend your knees so that your hands come to the block, to the floor, to the pillow, whatever you got. Taking a breath, try and relax your neck here. All right. Now, bend your knees until that right hand can be on the floor, someplace that feels stable. So your right hand's on the floor, your feet are nice and stable on the floor. You good? Because we're going to move this left arm. So what you're going to do is as you inhale, reach your left arm out to the side and then toward the ceiling, rotating your chest. Notice if your arm comes behind your shoulder. Try and keep your arm and your shoulder lined up so you're rotating your chest more than your arm. And then exhale, bring your hand all the way back down. We're going to do same arm. So inhale, reaching out to the side and up. Exhale, bring your arm all the way to the floor. We're going to do two more. Inhale, opening through your chest. Exhale, coming back down. Maybe one more time. If you can, find a spot to hold your body in this twist. Breathe. Keep your knees bent. Maybe just turn your chin toward the floor, rotating your chest to the left as much as it feels useful. Take another breath. Feel that heat. All right, now bring your left hand to the floor. Find a place where you can relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Check in with your body. All right. If you need to pause the video before we do the other side to take care of yourself, please do that. But when you're ready, try and find a spot where that left hand can touch the block, can touch the floor. We're going to move this right arm. So when you inhale, you're opening through your chest, rotating your chest to the right. It may not go very far. That's okay. And then when you exhale, let your right hand come to the floor. So inhale, reaching out and up, opening through your chest. Exhale, hand to the floor. We're going to do two more. There you go. Feel your body. Only go as far as it feels useful. No pain. Somebody asked me what useful was the other day. All right. The next time your arm is reaching toward the ceiling. Sorry, I forgot. Keep that right arm reaching toward the ceiling. Turn your chin toward the floor. Now remind yourself, you're not reaching your arm behind your back. You're rotating your chest to the right. It may not go far. This is a morning practice. You may not feel that flexibility. That's okay. Now bring both hands to the floor. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck here. All right. If you can, keep your body in this position. You're just going to walk your hands to the left a little bit. Let your nose drop toward that left knee. Maybe reach out through your right fingertips a little bit more. And then walk your hands back to the center. And then keep going over to the other side, letting your nose drop toward that right knee. Taking a breath or two here. And then bring your hands back to the center. And then we're going to come down into a seated position. You can get there from here however you like. It does not have to be graceful. Just pay attention. As we come into this seated position, give yourself a minute. Take a breath. And then as you get yourself situated, we're going to stretch both legs out in front of us. Now your knees do not have to be perfectly straight, but try and keep your toes and your kneecaps toward the ceiling here. All right. You're going to bring your hands to the floor, palms to the floor if you can. Get that little stretch across your palms. I know sometimes the wrists, the hands get a little pinchy. If you get a shooting pain, that definitely means you're in the wrong spot. You can always rotate your hands in a different position. But the idea here is to squeeze your shoulder blades together behind your back, lifting through your chest. Think about pressing your hands into the floor. Get a little weight-bearing activity through those hands, that stretch at your wrists. Think about pressing your fingertips into the floor here. All right, now we're just going to move the head. So when you inhale, lift your chin toward the ceiling, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. When you exhale, tuck your chin. Do this a couple more times. Inhale, lifting your chin. Exhale, tucking your chin. Maybe 2 more, just like that. Good. One more time. Lift your chin. And then when you exhale, you're going to tuck your chin, bring your hands to your legs, walk your hands down your legs, just folding forward wherever it feels useful. And then when you inhale, flatten your back, lifting through your chest again. Exhale, pull that belly button in, bending at the hips. We're going to try 2 more like that. Maybe 1 more time, just extending through your spine and then folding forward. Now, if you can, stay folding forward. Just flex your feet. Push out through your heels that little bit. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. And then slowly, slowly sit all the way up. And then come into a comfortable seated position. Now, if that means you need to get up and sit on a chair, do that. If you need a pillow or a cushion, we're going to be here for just a minute. I'm going to invite you to do a little morning breath practice. And not like your bad breath, but to activate that digestion again. So this is bellows breath. So it's a little bit strong. If you just ate, if you've already had your coffee, maybe just watch. Don't activate your digestion if you're already activated. But the idea is it's a really strong exhale and really strong inhale. It's kind of a fast breath. And then we go through 10 fast breaths, and then we're going to pause and take a full breath. And then we're going to do another round if you can. If at any time you start to feel dizzy, or it sometimes can just clear out the snot in your head, if you need to stop and grab a Kleenex, take care of yourself. All right, so those are all the cautions. Now that I've got you nervous, take a regular breath. Just feel that easy inhale and exhale. Feel your body nice and stable. And we're activating the diaphragm, so the space just below your rib cage. On your next exhale, nice strong exhale and inhale. Try and breathe through your nose if you can. And then take a free breath. Maybe feel that energy. Maybe notice any dizziness in your head. And you can count for yourself, counting 10. I'm just using my fingers. Free breath. And again, feel that energy, feel that movement through your body. If you have time, maybe find a spot where you can lay down on the floor again, just feeling that energy moving through your body. Taking a moment maybe to set your intention for your day. Definitely take a minute to congratulate yourself on doing this practice, on taking this time. And just notice how this practice felt for you. Maybe you want to come back and do this on another morning or on an afternoon when you need to wake up or digest something. Thank you so much for playing. Namaste.